What's going on, majestic ones? It's your boy Xavier back again with another banger. Today we are talking about mushrooms, the Mycelium Network, and the elevation of consciousness. Okay? Now, if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you thinking? Like the video. Subscribe to the video. You know the vibes. We need these videos to start going up. Like I'm talking about up and stay up. We want thousands of views because this information can definitely be helpful toward lots of other people's personal growth. The reason why you're on this video is because you're on your personal growth journey. Other people definitely want to be on the same page. Each one teach one. Subscribe to the channel. So anyway, mushrooms have long been a part of esoteric consciousness transformation. Now, I'm just going to tell you my own personal experience with psilocybin mushrooms, okay? When you take mushrooms, right? If you're in a state where you are receptive to positivity and healing and things of that nature, you can have a very powerful experience. What I experienced wasn't anything like hallucinations, but it was definitely a very sharp change in perception. What I mean by that, all of a sudden, I could sense that nature was trying to communicate to me psychically. Now, I know this might sound crazy, but maybe other people who have done this can share in that same experience, right? So, all of a sudden, all the colors and the sounds, everything just sounded beautiful. It looked beautiful. The air felt like it was hugging my skin. I felt so embraced by the world around me. I looked at the trees, and as the leaves were blowing in the wind, I could sense that the tree was waving at me, but sending emanations of love to me. You know, I saw this dragonfly, and I could see the wings. As the wings flapped, it's like I was being communicated in some Morse code with the flap of the wings. And the dragonfly was trying to tell me to stay aware, be careful. So I noticed it said everything in 2-word sentences, and everything was like centered right there in the present moment. And everything was verbs. It wasn't about nouns. It was about being, stay aware, be careful. And I heard the birds singing. As they were singing, the message that I got from the birds was, it's here, it's now, it's here, it's now. This was the message that was coming to me psychically when I was on shrooms. This is my first experience. So I'm tripping. You know, a lot of people are thinking, what is he talking about? But literally, these are the voices of nature that I experienced when I was on shrooms. So the reason I bring this up is because when you are in a sense of awe and astonishment, this is a very important state of consciousness to be in, because this is what separates you from the animals. You don't see lions looking up at the stars at night like, wow, that's so beautiful. You don't see that. You don't see bears walking through a field of flowers like, oh my goodness, look how beautiful the flowers are. This perception of beauty and the capacity to be amazed at the beauty is a very, very important part of worship. That is worship. You are in a state of worship when you are in a state of awe and amazement and astonishment. You should be trying to reprogram your nervous system as much as you possibly can so that you can tap into that beauty deeper. In today's society, most people are desensitized. Most people are so desensitized that it takes so much extreme stuff for them to feel pleasure, for them to feel that wow factor, because they're constantly overstimulating themselves. These cell phones that you're watching this YouTube channel on are unfortunately a main culprit of this desensitization. Okay? So you have to unplug. You have to unplug and you have to send powerful signals through your nervous system of peace and harmony with the natural vibration of Earth. And so mushrooms help speed track that process of reprogramming the neurochemical pathways to neurogenesis and nervous system resetting. Of course, a very important part of this is semen retention. When you couple that with any of these things that I talk about on my channel, you get the real results. Other than that, you're getting these little baby steps where you don't really see that impactful result, right? So you need to layer this with semen retention before you even approach shrooms. People who are on shrooms that are constantly engaging in a lot of distractions, and they're constantly led by their flesh, they have no spiritual focus at all, they don't experience the same kinds of things that are possible when you have a spiritual focus, or at least if you have your sexual continence, where you can experience these higher states of consciousness. You want to reprogram your nervous system. Just think about this, right? I want to bring this example of nature to your attention. If you look at a forest, underneath the forest is what they call the Mycelium Network. The Mycelium Network is basically telling you about the network of shrooms that are underneath the dirt. And the Mycelium Network connects all of the roots of the trees of the forest, the flowers and everything, right? In a very intelligent way, okay? So let's say there's a colony of ants that's just eating away at a certain tree. The leaves are being overly depleted, right? Like it's not that much leaves, they're falling off. These ants are tearing up this tree. The Mycelium Network notices that. It sends a signal through the tree to release certain hormones or toxins so that these ants eat this stuff, and then they taste the nasty poison that the tree is excreting that is directed toward the ants specifically. And the ants are like, ugh, this is nasty. And they go to a different tree. But in this toxin, neuro programming, where the ant is now craving a certain tree, and that tree just so happens to be the tree that's overgrown. So that the mushrooms essentially send these ants on a mission. You're done here. No more eating this. I need you guys over here to eat this tree. And so these ants think that they're totally in control, but they're marching to the beat of a hypnosis that was done to them by shrooms underneath the dirt that nobody sees. This is the brain of the forest. You know, when there's a certain thing happening, these trees start responding based on signals that they're getting from these shrooms. So smart, so advanced. You are what you eat. You ingest these, imagine what happens in your brain. Things start to become reprogrammed. This is very known for helping people break addictions and form new healthy habits faster. You know, it helps build confidence in certain areas because you start to think more clearly. Let's just think about it. On Super Mario, what does he do? He eats mushrooms and he gets big, and then he goes down the tunnel, right? Reindeers are always known for eating mushrooms. So we see these Santa Claus analogies, right? You got these reindeers, and they're always eating shrooms. And what does Santa Claus do? He goes down the chimney the same way that Super Mario goes down the tunnel. And what is Santa Claus dressed in? Red and white, just like the red and white mushroom on Super Mario, referring to the Amanita muscaria species of mushroom that was used in ancient practices. All this stuff gets deep, but it's very connected. And it's talking about how when you ingest this and it goes down the tunnel, right? Now, by the time it comes back up, you are transformed if you allow this to do the process. It's a very psychedelic process. And the process, how you go along with it, I would recommend at least experimenting with meditation went on this, because then you can kind of speed up the process of how your brain reprograms itself. But before doing that, you need to practice meditation in general first. Don't do any of this stuff by yourself. As a matter of fact, I'm not even really suggesting that you do it at all. I'm just giving you some good information. You can try it on your own. I'm not responsible for your actions. You do your thing. But definitely like and subscribe, and I hope you learned something.